There's always been an attitude that we can't stay static.
Every firm knows they need to take that next step once you get to a certain level.
If you're going to be static, we're going to be dying. We started looking ahead and thinking we're going to be the old guys that nobody wants to work for because we're behind the times.
Making a huge technology shift is a huge hit to the bottom line, especially if it doesn't perform for you.
It's really difficult for a firm to give up the technology that they've learned. If this doesn't go well, how do we get out safely?
The finite point when somebody realizes they need to learn a new technology happens all the time.
We will always ask, who has done this before? Is this a proven technology? We don't want to be the guinea pig.
It's a mindset difference. It's a completely different way of doing things, and quite honestly, it's a new language.
You're asking somebody that has been doing something in one way to change their habits, their knowledge base, their patterns.
I've known this, I know it works. I'm not willing to give that up.
But what happens is you, as a studio, become fragmented. And it's what we were for years, is that basically we're using multiple programs and those are disconnected. Internally, we understood that the workflow was broken and we needed to figure out a way to solve it.
In our case, we were not going to be able to recruit and keep the smartest people if we weren't on a BIM platform. Our clients are more sophisticated and they're looking for things in 3D. Our designers are understanding their designs better by developing them in 3D. We started feeling like the risk of not moving outweighed the risk of moving.
To change from one software platform to another involves economics, involves training, perhaps new hardware, all of which isn't architecture.
A lot of effort, a lot of inefficiency from the start, and also a lot of change in people's mindset. We as architects are not risk takers.
In general, architects are really, really bad at business, and making a decision like this is significant to that business. It's a game of hours, it's a game of efficiency, and it's a game of systems. The concern that we had, is a team gonna get there? Are we gonna get there?
We identified risk on a lot of different levels. From a business standpoint, there's an awful lot of monetary risk. We have a platform we've been working on in 2D for about 10 years. We have a library of details that's going to have to transition. We're going to have to do new training. You know, our staff says they want to do Revit. The reality is they don't really know Revit. They've been exposed to it.
Companies really look for what is familiar and what's the next step within what they already know, not looking at it as a blank slate solution.
It's about doing what everybody else is doing, and so there's a safety in kind of being amongst the masses.
Everybody else is using it, so we need to learn it too. Yeah, I think that's bollocks. We're a very successful firm and we're not doing it. So it can't be true that picking the popular software makes you successful.
There's so many options. How do we find the right paths that work? What changes our core productivity? What makes us better at what we do?
I'm not going to be limited by what I'm already taught. I'm going to go out there and look for new solutions. That's really how you survive.
We fight against ourselves a little bit because we eat change for breakfast, but we're incredibly slow to make a decision. We historically probably thought things to death.
We have clients that need projects. We have demands just like any firm does. So there's always that fear of like, how is this going to happen? When are we going to do it?
When we're busy, we don't want to be disrupted in our work. And that's the worst thing that can happen. We tell them that we cannot keep on just staying in this old, outdated technology. So in order for us to compete as an industry, we have to change.
You're going to have hurdles. You're gonna have problems. We're architects, we're problem solvers. Hundreds of thousands of people that have already gone through this process. You're not the first, you're not gonna be the last.
It's very challenging from a technological standpoint, but once you get over that learning curve, people get a lot more comfortable with the process and they realize that there are a lot of parallels between working in BIM and working in a traditional practice.
As a whole, the industry sees that BIM is definitely the direction that we all need to go. But can we push ourselves to that next level? Can we start to really think differently about our projects from the start?
And that we could manage the risk of change if we embraced it and had a roadmap and figured out how to do it.
You have to win the hearts and minds of people, and that's the hardest part.
It's fun to work in 3D, and it's exciting, but it is intimidating.
It takes a certain bit of courage for somebody to be able to accept the unknown, to rethink and reinvent yourself.
Hey, this is an opportunity. If we take this change and we use it, we can establish ourselves out in front and we can be ahead of this.
Are you going to stay competitive or will you fall behind? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
We're in it. We're excited that we're fully on board. We can keep it one way, but we know that's not the way to keep it.
We're going to make a change.
BIM software, ArchiCAD, in my experience, really fosters collaboration.
In BIM, you see the project in its current form. This was our opportunity where we can excel.
Everybody on the team is able to see what the building's going to look like when it's built. Everybody on the team has the ability to raise a concern if they don't like what they see in the model.
Having these tools that show the complexity of a design up front, and then open the door to new ideas, new questions, new suggestions.
4 years ago, we said, we know we're efficient compared to others. What's the next step?
BIM actually forces you to think of the building as one element because it is one model. That's been a big benefit, just thinking about a building as one thing.
We're all in the model together. Everyone is in the loop, in the know. That's been a really great enhancement of our culture.
We're forced to all work together in a holistic way, in a solid model that we can all see those movements happening together.
And you know, the nature of design is such that things change every hour, every day. We always see the latest version of the model, and we can always capture inputs and update our designs quickly. And then it's shared automatically to people. It's a very efficient way of collaborating.
You can have more people providing viable, real information into models, into a central hub where other people can get to it.
What you're building now is a body of knowledge in the design, get you to a point in the project faster and sooner that's more holistic. And so then when you get to the CDs, it's simply documenting what's in the model.
In the past, we had to rely on the thickness of our lead to say this is accurate. Today, we know that all of those dimensions are 100% accurate. And if we can get the contractors involved up front, we're given the opportunity to think something through 2 years in advance.
Now having Open BIM, now having IFC, we can exchange the entire building in a way that we weren't able to before.
I think there's a BIM myth in interoperability being a hiccup or an obstacle. I have never had a consultant say, I can't use this or this doesn't work.
The structural engineer can see your model. You know the structural contractor can see your model. You know the general contractor can see your model. ArchiCAD has definitely been a competitive advantage for us.
Autodesk, they don't really want to play with anybody else. And ArchiCAD is great. I mean, you can take it from a 3D model, I can link it with my schedules really easily, and then we can go to the virtual reality, which is the next component.
Now we're walking through the space in real time in a coordination meeting where everybody can see the impact of their trade.
We can plug and play that, we can click, we can pick, we can run clash detection, we can make all those changes digitally when the cost is insignificant.
If you can build it 2 times and 1 time it really didn't cost anything before you build it in the field, you're going to save money. Everybody building it's going to save money. We're going to build it more efficiently.
15% of the project's budget goes to rework. And BIM enabled us to lower that number into something that's single digit.
When I run clash detection for the first time, usually it pulls up tens of thousands of clashes. That's a game changer.
We find out 99.5% of the issues, and then the construction just goes smoother. So then we find ourselves building projects in record time.
We're not a huge firm, 35 to 45 people, but we're able to produce multiple 60-plus story buildings at any time because of the efficiency of GRAPHISOFT.
In our case, we like to venture more in technology. We've invested in a software writing division, automating our documentation process, linking it automatically to specifications. It will automatically generate documents based on a very detailed BIM model. 6 months of work we can do in 2 days.
It's encouraging and it's exciting. I don't think at this point that we'd ever go back to any other means of developing our projects. To me, it just makes better business sense to be confident in the output that will make some profit for you, but at the same time keeps the client informed far beyond what they may have expected.
The way that we've always envisioned ArchiCAD is that it's simply a tool. Simply a tool to be able to leverage the skills and the unique inherent talents that all of our team members have.
We're having low-level architects on a project start to have a much greater understanding of how one decision we're making as an architect is impacting other trades and a much greater global sense of a project.
The level of collaboration and accountability is going to continue to grow and be huge. That's when the magic really starts to happen. That's when buildings are designed better. They better meet the functions of what the owner needs.
It's the same feeling that I had when we committed to go to BIM. We felt that is the next big step for us.
This isn't about hard and fast rules. It isn't about contract requirements. It's about collaboration, accountability, and building a team.
And a lot of people are going to try to bring challenges to that. And our talent is taking those challenges and bringing that to success.